Salutations, respected viewers. I'm George from Ireland, and here I am on Doughty Street in London. Behind me is the house where Vera Brittain lived from the 1920s, most of her life, until her death in 1970. So Vera Brittain was born in 1893. Her father was a well-to-do businessman in the English Midlands, and just before the First World War, Vera Brittain was due to attend Oxford University. Remembering that higher education for women was quite a new thing in the UK at the time, in the 1850s was Bedford College founded here in London, the very first tertiary educational institution for females in this country. Oxford had only been taking women since 1878, so a tiny proportion of women would go on to higher education. And then the First World War broke out, so she gave up her place at Oxford. She volunteered to be a nurse, and you can have minimal nursing training to tend to those who were wounded in the war. And she said that the outbreak of the First World War to her seemed to be just something of the most exasperating interruption to her personal plans. And she later seemed to scorn herself for being so petty, so egotistical about it, and realizing what war really meant, that ordinary people, good people, were going to be killed in their millions, and she saw them in their agony. And her boyfriend was killed in the war, and her brother was killed in the war, and obviously it really brought home to her the true horror and pity of war. So after the First World War, she became a pacifist and did everything she could to campaign for the cause of world peace, joining the Peace Pledge Union, trying to get people to support the League of Nations, to find non-violent solutions to international disputes, and campaigned in that cause really to the end of her life, even in the Second World War, being a pacifist when it was deeply unpopular. She later married an American, Mr. Williams, and indeed lived in the United States briefly. Her daughter was Shirley Williams, Labour MP. Shirley Williams, who split from Labour in 1981, part of the Gang of Four, along with Bill Rogers, David Owen and Roy Jenkins, issuing their famous Limehouse Declaration, going off to form the Social Democratic Party, which later merged with the Liberals to form the Liberal Democrats. And her daughter, Baroness Williams, is still a Liberal Democrat peeress. Indeed, was leader of the Lib Dems in the House of Lords for a while. But Vera Brittain is best known for her book Testament of Youth, which is a memoir that she published in around 1930, looking back to the First World War. What was it like to be a young blue-stocking at the time who was embroiled in all this, and describing her emotional travails. So that's Vera Brittain, and indeed Testaments of Youth has been turned into a film not long ago. So she's a fascinating and very learned figure. She never went back to university. That's Vera Brittain.